Hi, my name is Kate. I'm also known as Two Little Kits. Welcome to my FlossTube. Apologies for sounding a little bit strange. I do actually have a head cold right now, so that is indicative of maybe this being a shorter than usual video, but I've got lots to share, so let's get started. So I'm going to start this FlossTube by letting you guys know that I have a new free font available right now on my website. It's called Olive, and yeah, it's free. I explain on the actual shop item listing page about why it's free, but basically this is a font that I've used infrequently, but enough that I had it like in my head to be able to just draw out straight away, and I wanted to solidify it by making it into a pattern. And I then also expanded on it because it was initially just an uppercase font and a numbers font. So I added some lowercase letters. And this is a pretty simple looking font, which I am certain that there is similar or like design fonts of it out there that are available to use. And I'm not trying to infringe on anybody's work already. So like I said, this is a font that I've had in my head for ages. I wanted to get it designed and structured correctly from my head so that I could just easily copy and paste it for my own stuff. And I wanted to share it with everyone else. So yeah, it's called Olive and it's available on my website right now. I'm going to move on to finished pieces. As you probably are aware, I have finished all of my Christmas ornaments, which is super awesome. It was so nice to drop them all off at the post office and get them all sent out. They've all been delivered correctly, which is whew, and a weight off my shoulders, because I'm always so paranoid when they leave my hands and I have to trust that they're going to get delivered correctly, because I've been stung twice in the past by things not being delivered correctly. Yeah, everyone has loved them, which is so nice to hear. I've gotten really nice photos of people hanging them on their tree, which is super cool. And I definitely plan next year, if I do decide to do ornaments, which is not 100%, but if I do decide to do ornaments again next year, I will be starting much earlier. I mentioned somewhere, and I don't remember where I mentioned it, that I would potentially do something like a Christmas in July sort of sale, and that would be the start of wave one, because I never really got past wave one this year. I intended to give myself more time after the first lot were ordered, or placed, the orders were placed, to then do a wave two, but that didn't happen because of life and a second surgery and yeah, lots of things getting in the way basically. But that's okay. I got the ones that I needed to get done, and I'm very glad in hindsight that I officially notified everybody, as in the internet, that I would not be taking any more that would arrive before Christmas. So whew. So those are considered finished pieces because they weren't totally finished last FlossTube. Most of them were super close to being done, but yeah, I wanted to share all of them all finished. I do have two other finished pieces that I designed and worked on in this last fortnight. They weren't even on my radar last FlossTube, and these are two pieces that are for my kids to give to them for Christmas. So this is the first one. This is for my oldest daughter, who is, both of my kids are obsessed with Minecraft, but my oldest especially, and these are just a couple of things that she loves in the game. So there's a netherite sword, a signpost, a golden apple, a diamond, a lava bucket, and a horn, and obviously that's got a name on it because I thought that would be pretty cute. And so that'll go in a little 4-inch hoop, and hopefully she doesn't just toss it away. And the other piece that I did is for my youngest daughter, who is currently playing the newest Pokemon game, and her starter that she picked was Sprigatito, because I feel like if I hadn't have been helping out my family by picking Fuecoco so that we could all have the starters, because my husband took all the starters from the three of us and bred them. I would have picked Sprigatito because it's a grass cat. It's adorable. So she's gonna get that, and that will also go in a 4-inch hoop. But those are stitched up. This one was actually a lot quicker than I anticipated. This one had, I think, 26 colors in it. It was a lot of colors. Obviously it doesn't have as many colors, but this one took longer to stitch than this one. So those are done, and they're gonna get completely finished and wrapped up and given to my kids for Christmas. There's gonna be a lot of edits in this video, I suspect, because like I said, I have a cold, and it's turned into lots of coughing. So if some edits don't seem as seamless as I try to do them, my apologies. She says just before she coughs again. So let's move on to works in progress, because that's always feels like a natural progression. I'm pretty sure I shared this one last FlossTube. This is a snowflake pattern that's designed by Fuzzy Fox Designs, and she's got an Etsy shop. She has a couple of these variegated snowflake patterns. I thought it was perfect to pick the Christmas themed variegated floss for this one, and I don't know if you can see it, but the white that I'm working on, so I've done all of the variegated floss, and now I'm working on the white additions. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm actually doing a tolly thread for it. So it gives it just a really slight shimmer, which is really, really nice, actually. I have discovered quite a few problems with this pattern. I've had to unpick bits and pieces about a handful of times, which is not easy given that I was trying to make the colors flow nicely because of the variegated floss. But this is also stitched on linen, so it's really hard to stop and start a new cut of floss because there's not the natural Aida fabric weave technique like there is with the Aida for the linen. Hopefully that makes sense. My brain's not working very well. But it looks really cool. There's one mistake that I haven't unpicked and redone in this, and I'm hoping that once it's all done, all of the white is done, it won't be very obvious, because I mean I can't really see it just looking at it like this, but I know that it's there, so we'll see how it looks. But this is basically just a little mindless piece which hasn't really kept continuing being mindless because I started it on linen. Oh well. It's on 16, sorry, it's on, not 16 count, it's 32 count linen. So I'm doing 2/1, so it is basically 16 count fabric. So there's that one. There's this one which I actually started yesterday, which today is the 10th. And this is from Flossy Fox Designs. I'll just double check that. Flossy Fox Shop, sorry, who makes such cute designs. I will just point out, highly recommend. But it's this piece here, it's called Blackwork Foxes, I think, something like that. And I realized recently that I'd never done a piece that was purely blackwork. If you don't know what blackwork means, it's basically just backstitching. Usually it is done in black, that's why it's called blackwork. There's also a thing called redwork, which is all done in red. But yeah, it's basically a design that's just done in back stitches. So yeah, I've done the orange and the purple, and I'm currently working on the pink. And there's, I think, 8 colors total. Oh, sorry. I think there's 8 colors total, and they're all very bright colors. And I think it's going to look really cool. I did this also on a smaller fabric. This is 18 count Aida. And there's a lot of poking into the fabric outside of the natural holes, which I don't mind. It just makes it take a little bit longer. And I have made a little edit with the tiny little stars here and this one here. There'll be a couple more. They were the line that goes straight across horizontally in a star. I've kind of shortened them because they looked a little weird on the pattern, in my opinion. But I have actually done a lot more than this on this, because I had to cut out 5 of the 7 foxes last night because I did a dumb and I started it too high on the fabric. I keep doing that kind of thing lately. It's really annoying me, actually. But yeah, this is cute, and it's foxes. Like, come on, foxes are like my thing, aren't they? So this is that one. And I'm actually finally gonna share this one. I have been teasing it for months now, I think, and it is almost done. I've got one more thing to do, and I'm gonna unpick the wording and redo it in black because I think that it'll stand out and be more legible. But basically I'm gonna be sending this really soon, so I'm not worried about, I don't really know what I was worried about. But anyway, so this is a piece that I'm gonna be sending to a TikTok / Instagram person that I follow, because her name is Elise Myers, and she is hilarious and talks about her life a lot, which is a very interesting life, and she's done a lot of interesting things. She's just she seems like she's a very genuine and very friendly person who I can relate a lot to. Mostly probably because of ADHD, but anyway. I've been following her for quite a while and I've enjoyed her content, and I've done these kinds of things before where a person that I follow that brings me joy, I make something like this for them and send it to them. I generally try to make sure that I have somewhere to send it to before I create it, because I got stung by that once. Someone was like, oh, that's cool, and they didn't send me a place to mail it to. Anyway, yeah, and just to say thank you for making cool content. So this is almost done. I've unpicked his hair, and I'm going to be redoing it because I was looking at it over the last few days and I was like, there's way too much hair. I tried to unpick it in a way that I could reuse the floss, but it was impossible. I had to just cut the whole thing out, basically. And so he's currently balding, but he's not in real life. And because I did it on this really nice grey fabric, I need to do the words again, because in nice lighting you can't really read it. So I'm going to do it in black, and then you'll be able to see it properly. So this will be sent off pretty soon, and hopefully she loves it. Oh my goodness, the flowers. I did the florals completely different initially. I did this side, which I've covered up now. Actually, I did both sides and actually pulled the fabric in a couple of places where it wouldn't bounce back, and I've thankfully covered up those gaping holes, but the florals were so different. I'll put an image up of what they look like, but I am planning on making some kind of like before and after kind of thing of what they did look like, because I'm so glad I redid them, because I'm so amazed and in love with these flowers. As my daughter would say, she's in love with everything, so she's rubbing off on me. But I just think they look so cute. Hopefully you can kind of tell that they're a little bit 3D. And I counted, and there's actually 7 different stitches that went into these flowers. But anyway, that's that one. So that is technically a work in progress, but it's pretty much done. I'm really losing my voice. I also have embroidery patterns that are works in progress. Currently there's nothing I can like hold up and show you, but I do have sketches that I've done, and I'm currently still trying to learn Procreate, where I'm going to use that to create the, create the image, I guess, that I would then transfer onto the fabric to then stitch up the test stitch, and then I would create the pattern from there. I've got I think it's 4 designs that I have sketched up, because I find it easier to literally sketch with a paper and pencil right now. Hopefully one day I won't need that necessarily and I can just use Procreate, but I'm still learning it, so it's just a little bit tedious to try and sketch for me still. I need to work out brushes, pretty much. So yeah, I've got all these sketches that are going to transfer into designs that I'm hoping to make 2023 a year that I get back into embroidery patterns, because technically I did release 1 embroidery pattern this year, but it was at the very beginning of January and it was a stitch along, and these ones are likely not going to be stitch alongs. I don't know if I'm going to do stitch alongs again. Before you ask, they were a lot of work, they were a lot of stress, they were a lot of time investment, but they also provided me with a lot of content that I could generate and share, which is always really good. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I don't know right now, but I'm working on the bit that I know for a fact that I need to do, basically. Hopefully you like the look of them, hopefully they make sense. They're all still up in the air, pretty much. They're just sketches. So I mean, right now I don't have any commissions, which is really strange, I'll be quite honest, because I've had these ornaments since September. I've had something that I've needed to work on, and even before then I had the order with 3 pieces in it, and that was from months ago. So I've had a paid thing going on for so long that right now I keep working on something that's not work, for lack of a better term, and realizing what I'm doing, and then I'm like, oh my god, but I need to work on something specific because don't I have a customer? It's just very strange. So if you are thinking that you'd like to order something from me, now is a great time. I cannot get it to you before Christmas, just to be clear. My availability is wide open, but I do have lots of things that I'm working on, as you can see, so I'm not like, please, please, right now. As a reminder, if you would like to gift something that is made by me to someone for Christmas, that I do have the ability to do a gift certificate for you in any amount that you wish. You can print them off. They're designed to be printer friendly so that you can actually print it at home and fold it nicely and give it to someone that you think would love to then order from me, basically. So it's any amount that you wish. It's not set amounts because I'm generating them by hand, but that's an option if you'd like to take advantage of it, basically. I've been currently working on a really big blog post on my website. It's a wrap-up post of October and November, because I didn't do a wrap-up post of just October at the beginning of November because I was focusing so much on getting through all my stitches, and it is taking me so much longer than I anticipated to get this blog post done, because I have so many images to work through, so much content to write up to go alongside the images as well. As I mentioned in the past, these posts that I've done, I've only started doing them a couple of months ago. So I think the first one I did was August as my first wrap-up post. But they're kind of like this, where it's really nice. It's a nice way for me to reflect back on what I've done and what I've accomplished and what I've dealt with in a way. But yeah, this one's really big. It's got 40 images to add to it. Sorry, my throat's giving out on me. I'm not going to be too much longer. I can't remember what I was saying. There's a lot to go through, and I think I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. I've done all the imagery. It's just the content writing now, basically. But it'll get up on my website. It will be backdated a little bit because that's just how my website's set up right now, but it'll get there. It'll get there. So a couple of things in real life before I scurry off and, I don't know, rip out my throat. I had a foot doctor appointment, which is super. I got an x-ray done, found out that it is healing, it is getting there, even though it doesn't feel like things are really improving visually and medically. It's getting better. So basically, without like a visual, you've got two, like your thumb is kind of the same as your big toe. So you got a bone here and a bone here. This top bone had like a V shape in the middle through it. So like, whatever. And there was a V shape through the middle of the bone that was basically just fractures throughout the whole thing. That's no longer on the x-ray, which is like, yes, that's so good. The two bones where they almost touch, thankfully they don't touch because that would be bad, but where like the joint is, basically, they need to continue healing. So that's probably what's hurting, along with the fact that it's cold. That's most likely the pain that I'm feeling. It's come down in swelling. I do have a lot of scarring. Not right now, I need like 3 minutes. Got my oldest wanting to come in. Anyway, yeah, I've got a lot of scarring going on. I've got a prescription strength ointment that I'm putting on it, which is trying to stop it from turning into a keloid scar, but with my genetics, thanks mum, and experience with scars like this kind of thing, it was gonna happen. I was gonna get a keloid scar, so it's not like it's, I don't know, right down the middle of my face, so I'm not phased. I would rather have that than a toe that has fractures throughout it for the rest of my life. Yeah, it basically, in a nutshell, it's getting there. I do have to wait a bit longer before I can go back to martial arts, which I figured I'd be told that, like, it was official. You know, I asked him, do I need to continue waiting and for how long? And he said until my next appointment, which is early January, where I think we'll do another x-ray and see how things are going. But I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, basically, but it's nice. What else? My kids have 1 week left of school, and then they have 2.5-ish weeks off, because New Year's Eve obviously lands on a weekend, so they have to wait an extra day before they get to go back to school. I'm actually not really dreading it yet. My husband is taking a lot of time off over the same period. He's probably going to take the full first week of January off, though, rather than going back when the kids go back. And he's already said that he's going to help me out around the house, which is, and when I say that, I mean like DIY things that I've been gently reminding him about that I'd like done, because I'm a bit nervous to do them myself, basically. So I'm excited about that, because I feel like it will allow us to be a bit more organized, because our house is a bit of a disarray and in a constant disarray. That'll be nice. And I'm hoping that we can all go to the snow as a family, because my toe is free to be put in regular shoes now, so I can wear my snow boots. We didn't get to do it last year, and I was pretty bummed out about that, because it was really fun the year before. If it snows here again, that'd be sweet, because we did have our very first white Christmas last year. All 4 of us had our first white Christmas. I just want to be explicit about that. But yeah, we might have it again this year. It hasn't snowed since, was it my last FlossTube? Hang on. No, okay, it wasn't. So the Tuesday after my last FlossTube, we had snow, like lots of snow, so much that we had 2 snow days at school, and I was terrified to drive because I have a 2-wheel drive car, and that doesn't do well in the snow. Just in case that wasn't clear, but it hasn't really snowed since probably the 1st of December. So it's been 10-ish days, and it's almost all melted, which is kind of sad, but also like really relieving. But it would be nice if it snowed during the winter break, because we don't have anywhere to be, basically. And I think that's kind of it. There's probably other stuff that's happened, but my voice is dying, my throat is dying, and I've got a lot to edit now. Plus my husband was really tired. He was telling me, please don't be too long because I'm struggling to stay awake. Because of my cold, I am snoring like a chainsaw, and I'm kept him awake all night, and apparently he was like trying to get me to stay rolled over, but I wasn't paying attention. I just kept rolling back over. So I had a bad night's sleep because of poor breathing, and he had a bad night's sleep because of my poor breathing, and anyway, it's a whole thing. But I will leave you at this. I call this a jumper. I know that it's not called that in America, it's called a sweater, but I love this jumper. This is a new one that I got. You can't actually get it anymore. She might do another drop of this one in particular, but it's from a company called See the Way I See, and I think it makes me laugh. I showed it to my husband, he's like, that's dumb. But yeah, I think it's hilarious, and it has, on the sleeves, it has breathe in, breathe out. So I got this, and it is so nice and cozy. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Follow me on Instagram if you don't already. That's where I post the most often. Leave me a comment below about what you think of the patterns that I'm designing with embroidery, and what you think of my kids' Christmas presents. Until next time, I'll see you around the internet. Bye!